welcome to another Pointy End, and it's my pleasure today to introduce you to Megan Purcell. Welcome, Megan.
Thank you, Dennis. My pleasure to be here.
Well, you're the new candidate, federal candidate, recently announced for Bendigo, the seat of Bendigo, by the Liberal Party. But the media, no surprise here, I guess, have quickly jumped on your life as a Bundy girl and Farmer Wants a Wife, the TV series. Let's deal with those issues first, because we'd rather focus on the future rather than the past. But let's talk about that briefly.
Sure, Dennis.
The Bundy girl thing.
For me, it was a very sort of straightforward thing and a bit of fun, and I was no big deal in the big picture of life. It's been interesting the way that it's got so much attention.
The Farmer Wants a Wife, there's another one.
I'm certainly, I suppose, outside the mould of your typical Liberal candidate, but I have been a committed Liberal since, well before I first joined the party on my 18th birthday. So it's something that I've been, very, very focused on for my entire life. I think it's important for us that we, as a community, reflect some of those Liberal values and the ones that I live by. So Farmer Wants a Wife, great experience. I'm a single girl that thought I'd put myself out there and have a chance at love, and I don't see why not. So it's something that was great fun, and now it's all about moving forward and focusing on Central Vic.
I think back, Megan, to when I was 18 and 20 and what a knucklehead I was, a typical Aussie 20-year-old bloke. I had no idea. What drove you to have a social conscience and to show any interest, certainly enough interest to become involved actively in a party?
Dennis, I'm sure you weren't a knucklehead. I'm convinced.
You didn't know.
But you're right, it's probably really uncommon, and certainly it was uncommon amongst my friends at the time, and even my family immediately had less of an interest in politics. But I grew up really very, very influenced by my grandmother, and she, at the time when I was a child, was the Shire President out at Malden, where I'm from, and I spent many, many, many evenings sitting in the corner of council meetings, of community group meetings, going out for working bees at the cemetery and the like, and that kind of thing really influenced me in terms of our community and our environment, and my family were all about what we can do to serve others and how we can get involved. And I saw the difference that she made and wanted to be part of that as well.
Gee, that says a lot, doesn't it, about, and she wouldn't have had a clue, obviously, as a grandmother, that she was influencing and shaping someone's life just by what she was doing, which is really, really important.
That's true, and it was, she was a very, very special lady and did some really fantastic things, and it's amazing, isn't it, the shaping influences that happen in your life.
Absolutely.
And where that comes from.
I read somewhere online, Megan, too, I think it was in an Age article or something, that you were described as a former economist. Does that mean you're not interested anymore, or explain that connection?
I don't know, are you ever a former economist?
Look,
I am a qualified economist. That is my trade by profession. And again, I guess one of those things, you don't see a lot of women economists or necessarily young female economist candidates, but it is something that I am an economist. But at the moment, I've taken my life in a bit of a different direction, obviously as a candidate and also as a shop owner in Malden. So I'm all about getting in there, having a go, and that's why I've had a couple of small businesses and thought I'd try something else for a change.
What prompted you to say, I'm ready and I want to have another crack now?
I guess, Dennis, you reach a time where you think, this is it. This is the chance to actually stand up, to make a difference, to get out there and advocate for my community. I have been involved with the broader Central Victorian community for many years now, and I've done a lot of programs and a lot of training that have helped me realise the opportunities and what can come out of people in the community stepping up and taking on leadership roles, including as a Lord and Murray Community Leadership Program graduate. So I reached a point where I realised eventually you have to put your money where your mouth is, and anyone can sit back and whinge, anyone can complain, but it takes someone to actually get the guts to put their hand up and say, I'm not going to just whinge about things being broken, I'm going to get in there and try and fix it. And I realised it was up to me to do so, so I put my hand up and thought I'd give it a shot.
What are the two or three key things that prompted you to say, these are the issues I really think need to be fixed and changed?
Dennis, not that I want to go on and on about it, but I'm pretty well known as a very out and proud Central Victorian, and how much I love this community. And it's really the local issues that hit home for me. As an economist, I am very, very interested in economic issues, and jobs is a huge one. We find here in Central Victoria that not always, but often we have an employment rate that's a few percentage points higher, and we do certainly at the moment,
in the youth area,
than the national average. Exactly. Youth unemployment. I myself have seen many of my friends and many of the people in my community, have issues with this, and I think it's something we can do better. So that's certainly a key focus. I also think scaffolding that is infrastructure issues. We're a growing community and we're really diverse. We've got agricultural communities and farming areas in the north, and the electric goes right down in the south to almost urban fringe type areas. So we've got to deal with how we cope with that growth and how we have the infrastructure that we need to facilitate that, whether it's country roads and bridges, whether it's fixing our mobile black spots, just making sure that we've got the resources there so that we can continue to grow our economy.
Your margin in this seat with Lucy Chester is around 1.3% or something, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It's very achievable. When you first took it on, were you sort of thinking, I'm going to win this? Are you coming from that angle, or you think I just want to have a crack?
Dennis, this is not a practice run. I'm in this to win this. This is about getting out there, getting out on the streets, listening to Central Victorians and actively representing their views. We need someone in Parliament who actually gets out there and gets stuff done, and that's 100% what I'm about. So this is not a practice run. This will be very, very serious.
I said earlier in this chat, Megan, that it's really interesting set of dynamics here in Bendigo to have, well, for a start, to have a young female candidate stand for the Libs. We had a sitting member, Bruce Reid, for many, many years, almost an elder statesman, I guess, of the party, and in terms of gender and also age. But to have you standing against someone very similar to you, Lisa Chester's, they're really interesting dynamics. How do you think that's going to play out? Is it going to we can go back to the Tony Abbott, Julia Gillard misogyny thing as well. How big a factor is the gender issue in Bendigo?
It's funny, Dennis, that you mention that, because nobody would blink an eyelid if this was two blokes running against one another.
That is very true.
Wouldn't be an issue. So I guess I look forward to a time where nobody cares, where it doesn't matter that there's two women running against each other. I am really proud to be the first female candidate for the federal seat of Bendigo from the Liberal Party. That's great. But at the same time, it's nothing special, because that's the world that we're moving towards, and that's what I want to see more of. I want it to become normal.
I was going to ask you how you're going to go in Parliament, because it's known as a fairly tough arena to operate in, and it's a very blokey environment. Mm-hmm. I won't even bother asking the question. I get the feeling you're probably going to handle that okay.
I'm not scared of the blokes, Dennis. And, my army training's helped me out a fair bit, I think, in that regard. And certainly I can hold my own with anyone, I think.
I was going to ask you about that too, because there was reference made to the fact you're army reservist. How did that come about?
Yes, I am an army reservist. That was something I've always felt like I'd like to do. My own father was in the army when I was a child, and I have a lot of respect for people who serve our country. So for me, I wasn't in an environment, I guess, where I thought I could do it for a long time, and I actually turned 30 and I decided, why not? So I worked on my fitness and got myself out there and gave it a crack, and I absolutely love it. There's just nothing better.
Wind the clock forward 10 years, and we don't know what the outcome is on Farmer Wants a Wife yet. In fact, how long do people have to wait to find that out?
Oh, Dennis.
Or is that a secret?
I can't give anything away. There's still a few more weeks left on the program, so all I can say is keep watching Channel 9.
Oh, the publicity machine are going to love you. All right, what I'm thinking, I guess, is look forward 10 years, regardless of the outcomes there. What would Megan Purcell love to think that she might be doing in 10 years' time? What is a vision of you in 10 years' time?
Well, obviously, Dennis, I want to be the member for Bendigo in the House of Representatives, and I want to have some real achievements under my belt that I've gotten for our community. I want to see a Bendigo and the whole region of Central Victoria with a really positive, forward-looking outlook. We do have some great opportunities here. We have wonderful people, and there's lots that we can do. And all I want to see is a thriving community.
Do you know Lisa Chester's, and what would you say to those people out there watching this to say, well, we've already got a young female federal member who seems, she hasn't always towed the party line either. What would you say to people? What does Megan offer that's over and above what they're already getting from Lisa Chester's?
Oh, Dennis, this is not really so much for me about my opponent as myself, and certainly I believe what I offer is strong commitment, a vibrant candidate who is actually prepared, to get out there, to get on with the job, and to just stand up for the people of Central Victoria. These are my people. It's a region I have known and loved, and I've always known and loved, and I'm very, very proud of that.
Well, Megan, I have to say thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. Today was really a get to know you, to find out who Megan Purcell is. We've all heard the name now, but to find out who the personality is behind the name. But we'll look forward perhaps potentially between now and the federal election to have you back to talk about specific issues as they come up throughout the campaign, as they no doubt will.
Can't wait, that'd be great.
All right, thanks again, Megan, for joining us. And thank you for joining us today, and we'll look forward to seeing you again next week.